Hello and welcome to another episode of our Shia Day Trip Productions. Today is Sunday, August 18th, 2024. I was kind of debating what to do today. I went a little early Halloween shopping last weekend and spent quite a bit of money. So I figured today I'd kind of lay off the spending for a little bit and just kind of head outdoors and just kind of see what's out there. So today I just think, well, I'm going to head back out to probably Lake Bentonville and just do a little bit of fishing. Last week when I went and did my early Halloween shopping, I also paid a visit to Cabela's Bass Pro Shops in Rogers and did a little shopping. I did pick up a few things, bought a few clothes, and just to mention that for all you ladies out there, they have some fall winter stuff on sale right now. I bought a few shirts and a jacket. They call them sales, but how much of a sale it really is, probably be debatable. But they're good quality shirts, so I think it's going to work for me pretty good, especially if you like being outdoors as I do. But I also did purchase a few things in the fishing section of Bass Pro Shops. And I had bought, point out a few things here. These fake minnows. This is $4.99 out there, and there's like 10 in the pack. I might try these out at a later date. I don't think these would work too well in Lake Bentonville. They might get snagged up pretty easy. But I also did buy this bait wax. This right here, I figured might be something good to add onto the, kind of just rub on these here to give a little bit more real smell or something to attract the fish, hopefully. This here, I believe, was $10.99, so it's a little pricey, but we'll see how that works out. And I also did buy catfish dough bait, Charlie Blood Bee bait, basically stink bait. I do like to catfish, so I haven't used this stuff in a while, but I figured Lake Bentonville might be a good place to kind of try it out, just see how well it works. I don't know, I might be able to see how the turtles take if they go after this or not. There's a lot of turtles out there. If you got night crawlers on your hook or what have you, they'll chase it down, as I've shown in previous videos. So I'm going to see how bad they go after this. So hopefully, maybe I can luck out and actually get a fish instead of a turtle pecking the bait. So, okay, it's probably about 9 o'clock now. It's going to be a hot day today, so I figured the earlier I get out there to do a little bit of fishing, to try this out, the better. So I'll be heading out there shortly, so let's roll. Alright, so I just wanted to show you, before I get set up out here, this is what it looks like. And it does smell, but to be honest with you, it already kind of smells out here anyway, so it's not any worse than what it already smells like out here. It's been a while since I used this stuff, so I think what I'm going to do is just get like a glob of it here, kind of just cover up the hook with it. Now, I actually have like I guess I might call it like a multi-hook, where you got multiple hooks in one, basically. And I think that actually works better for this type of bait. But I didn't know how long I was going to use this bait today, so I figured I'd just put it on a regular hook. Just kind of see what happens. And something jumped out there. Put the lid back on here, keep this fresh. Does get your hands a little dirty. So I didn't bring anything to, well, I guess you can always wipe it on the grass here. But you might want to bring out I don't know, paper towels or something, just to kind of wash your hands off. I don't want to get too close to the water because there are snakes out here. So I got put a little bit bigger weight on, so I'm hoping to cast out a little further. So here we go, see what we got. head pop up, tells me there's a little turtle out there already. Hope you can make it out. It's kind of hard for me to kind of tell where the camera is out here. The challenge to film fishing. Gives you new appreciation when you watch all these shows. You got what? Used to watch river monsters and all that stuff. Not that there's any river monsters out here, but you know. Figure I'd try this for a little bit. Nothing else. Maybe I could try the pick this up a little bit. I don't know if you see it coming in out there, but with that movement, that would be a turtle. Here it comes, steadily moving in. There it goes, come a little closer. There. Try to see if I can cast out a little farther. And go the other way a little bit here. And lost my bait. Yeah, the bad thing about that stuff, it doesn't stick on your hook very well. Alright, put another little piece on the hook here. And it's very wet and squishy, so I don't expect this really to hang on to the hook very long at all. So I might have to switch up my bait choice for today. This might work best maybe if you're in a boat or something where you can just maybe just kind of cast or just kind of throw it off the end of the boat there. Or better yet, get you a 3-prong, I forget what they're called, but the multi-hook. Hook in one, I guess you'd call it. Throw this out, see what happens. Okay, so you saw that. If you saw that, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't. Threw the bait out and straight away it came off the hook. So I think I'm gonna change up the bait a little bit and try something else. Okay, so I went back to one of my go-tos I usually use, just something just kind of toss out, see if anything goes after it. I did put some of that that wax on the end of this that I showed in the intro. So I'm gonna cast this out for a little bit, see if anything takes interest. Okay, so now I switched over to the other artificial bait I bought, my little fake minnows. I went ahead and put more of the wax on it. My hook's a little small, so it's not quite fitting on there the way I would like it to, but it's worth a shot. Yeah, a plane coming in. As I always said, nothing else, you'd come out, watch the planes take off and land. And I like planes, so it doesn't bother me. It is hot. Kind of watching the bait a little bit as I reel it in, and it seems to be moving pretty good, like a real little fish. I do believe it's probably just a little bit big for the hook I have. Alright, decided to move down a little bit to get out of the gunk a little bit. Don't see too much action over on this end. I was just kind of right there. Walk down a little bit. Kind of right here. It's so hot out here, the camera seems to be overheating a bit. One thing about it too, if you come out here, there's absolutely no shade by the lake, so it does get hot. Alright, so I just made it back home for just a quick little stop after doing a quick little fishing trip to Bentonville Lake. It's extremely hot out there, and my GoPro, gotta love my GoPro, started to overheat and kept shutting down, which is not unusual for that camera. Now granted, it is a little warm, but it can be frustrating when you have a camera that does that. So I'm going to come home, kind of change clothes, and I'm fixing to head back out. I think I'm done fishing for the day, but I'm going to pay a few visits to a couple of spots that might be good for future fishing adventures once the weather cools down a little bit. So it's just right now, it's almost 11:30, so I'm going to head out here pretty quick. Just wanted to come home and kind of cool off for a minute. So here we go again. Alright, so I finally made it to my next destination for the day. I am actually out here in Bella Vista at the Bella Vista Lake. It's supposed to be a small fishing lake out here, and I've never been out here before, so I figured I'd come out today and just kind of explore the area a little bit. As mentioned before, it's really hot right now, so I'm not planning on doing any fishing, but that doesn't mean we can't come out and explore the area. I did actually almost forget there is actually something out here that's not fishing related that I definitely want to pay a visit to. So let's kind of step out and start walking around a little bit. As you can see, just kind of right here, there's just looks like a bike trail and all that good stuff. I'm not quite sure what the lake is, but let's kind of head out and see what we got. Well, okay, so I found out a little bit of disappointing news. Apparently there is no longer a Lake Bella Vista. Apparently the bridge washed out few years ago and the lake is no more. I vaguely remember hearing something about that, but of course I didn't really remember, you know, like I said, it's my first time out here, so I'm not really familiar with the area. There are other lakes in Bella Vista, but Bella Vista is kind of mostly, it's a, you have to be a HOA member or a POA, whatever they call it. You have to be basically a member. They're pretty much private. I did ask a gentleman and a lady here, said, you know, they don't, I guess they wouldn't really mind if you go out there and just shoot a video, but as far as fishing and all that, you pretty much need to be a member. So I won't be heading out that way today. However, as I mentioned when I first arrived, there is actually another sight to see out here. And this is actually a veterans memorial out here. And I'm kind of going to want to walk around a little bit and just kind of pay a visit to the spot. And if you saw a video, I did a video a couple of weeks ago out at the Fayetteville National Cemetery, and as I said then, I always encourage you to go out, pay a visit, pay your respects. Don't have to know anybody out there, but you can still go out there and pay your respects to all the men and women who have served this great nation. So I'm just going to walk up here, kind of just take a look around, and so here we go. Okay, so the title of this memorial is Blue Star Memorial. And it says, a tribute to the armed forces that have defended the United States of America. And it's sponsored by Bella Vista Women's Garden Club, Bella Vista, Arkansas. And it looks like they have a couple of nice little garden items out here. You got a nice little flower bed. Then apparently they had planted this beautiful tree. I think this might be a maple. Gives you a little bit of shade out here if you get hot. Okay, and as you walk in, they got a little founder statement right here. And it says, I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm just going to kind of hopefully summarize a little bit. It says, welcome to the Veterans Wall of Honor, honoring all veterans of our armed forces who have served in peace and war since the Revolutionary War. And just down here, it gives you a little bit, it says here, a visitor after passing under the massive arc will note the 36-foot timeline displaying major military events from 1776 to 2006. It also says on the walls to the right and left where one finds 63 bronze historical plaques summarizing events displayed on the timeline. And it goes on to say the monument is circled by 18 historical flags. As the visitor proceeds inside, he sees the beautiful fountain and is amazed by the 4,167 encysted veterans tablets mounted on the 24 walls. It says here, one of the major objectives of the Veterans Council is to inform school groups and the general public of the contributions made by our veterans to secure our nation's freedom. And over here on this side, it gives you the architect's statement. and it tells you a little bit of the design of this memorial. And it says the monument employs a circular enclosure as the form that historically has offered safekeeping for those contained within and currently for those honored here. Okay, so this starts off with the timeline of some of the major wars up till, I think it said 2007, I believe. So we start here with the Revolutionary War. Gives you the date of the Declaration of Independence. Then we go on to move to the Barbary Wars, Seminole Wars, Black Hawk War, so this first section here is the Revolutionary War, Barbary Wars, and the War of 1812. It moves on to the Seminole Wars. And then it continues on to the Mexican War. Move on to the Civil War. And then the war with Spain. And then it continues on into more modern times, starting with World War I, World War II, the Cold War, Korea, Vietnam, and the Mideast. And it continues on to the Persian Gulf, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Okay, and it also gives you some little information about the wars. Some starts with the Revolutionary War and gives you some of the history. And as you can imagine, there is quite a lot to read out here. So obviously I'm not going to read everything, but I just, since we're out here, just want to kind of show a little bit of what we got out here. We got the Lewis and Clark Expedition, War of 1812, over here we got the Alamo. There looks like the picture, or I'm not sure if that's an actual photo or a rendering, but that's the Alamo. We got the Frontier Wars. There's a rendering of the Battle of Prairie Dog Creek. We got the Mexican War. And it says here that the war with Mexico was the result of the annexation of the Republic of Texas to the United States in March of 1845, which the Mexican government regarded as an act of war since they had refused to recognize Texas independence. Here's a artist rendering of the Battle of Bella Vista. And here we get to the Civil War, and it says right here, the immediate cause of the war between the states was the election of Abraham Lincoln to the presidency of the United States in 1860. The deeper cause, however, was the issue of states' rights. And here it goes on to talk about the Gettysburg Address. Got a map here that shows you some of the principal battle sites of the Civil War. So from this end we get to war with Spain. And I am not real familiar with the war with Spain. It's not one you hear about too often, at least when I was in school. You don't hear too often about. It says that here there were two principal causes for the war with Spain. The first was the brutality of the methods by which the Spanish colonial authorities sought to suppress the revolution that began in Cuba in 1859. And it goes, the second was the mysterious explosion on the battleship USS Maine, which occurred on February 15, 1898, while on a goodwill visit to Havana. And here we got World War I, the war to end all wars, which began following the assassination of the Archduke of Austria-Hungary in the summer of 1914. Got some artist renderings of some of the early planes. And here it mentions the Great Depression. And down here it says and with the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States became the greatest industrial nation in the world. And here gives you some more historical information on what was going on following World War I. And then we reach World War II. At the end of World War II, America sustained 1 million casualties, nearly 300,000 killed and 700,000 wounded. It says throughout the world it is estimated that the total of military and civilian deaths amounted to over 53 million. And down here it talks about the material costs: 59,000 aircraft, 157 naval vessels, and 866 merchant ships. Then over here on this side it continues with more about World War II. And that there is the famous Marines lifting of the United States flag over Iwo Jima. And it talks a little bit about the victory in the Pacific. The atomic bombings on August 6th and 9th resulted in the surrender of the Japanese and the end of World War II on September 2nd, 1945. Okay, over here it gives you a little bit of information about what America produced from 1939 to 1945. They produced over 300,000 aircraft, 211 submarines, 2.4 military vehicles, 100,000 tanks and armored vehicles, 27 aircraft carriers, 10 battleships, 110 escort carriers, 82,000 landing craft, and 41,000 guns and howitzers. And we continue on to the Cold War. Korea, what they call the Forgotten War. Let's not forget this war. It started on June 25th, 1950. North Korean troops started the Korean War by invading South Korea. 2 days later, the United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution calling member nations to help defend South Korea. It says in all, 16 nations sent troops to assist South Korea. Over 90% were American. Here says there was over 36,000 deaths and 103,000 wounds. And that is quite a lot, considering that this war lasted from 1950 to 1953. So in 3 years, a lot of tragedy happened. And then we move on to Vietnam. And then of course we get to the Persian Gulf War, the war on terrorism, the war in Afghanistan, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Well, okay, so that's a visit to the Veterans Wall of Honor here in Bella Vista, Arkansas. This was kind of a little bit of an unplanned visit. Was looking actually for a lake, but found this instead, which is absolutely wonderful. Would like to spend a little bit more time out here, but it is hot. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. But you know, that's what's really interesting. Sometimes you just go out, you just never know what you might find. Go out, look for one thing, and find something else that's just as interesting, if not more. So that's gonna do it all for me today. Until next time, bye.